Hey everyone, welcome back to Midlife Christy. I'm Christy. I'm 40 years old, hence the name Midlife. I am a nurse in the OR, and my fiance works for the government. On this channel, I share with you how we manage our money so that we can hopefully pay off debt sooner and be able to save for a house in this economy. We are paid on different pay schedules, so my paychecks pay for bills and Jake's pay for our variable expenses, with both of us contributing to savings and sinking funds. I hope to be an inspiration or a motivator for you on our journey and hope that you choose to hang out and follow our journey. Today on this video, what I'd like to do is get back down to basics a little bit and just go over how to create a budget. So first and foremost, I've just got some scratch paper here. One sec, I'm gonna grab a marker. All right, so first things first, what I have learned from all of the budgeters that I have watched is that you have to have a reason why you want to budget. What is the reason that you want to be better with your money? What drives you to want to be better financially? Is it that you also want to pay off debt or you want to save for something important? So, first off, the first thing that you need to know is obviously your income. You need to have a roundabout way of being able to figure out how much you get paid in a month. Okay, so first is your monthly income. Second, you need to know what your bills are. What are your every single month expenses? And that could be everything as far as your utility bills, your rent, your utilities, your phone, internet, also internet, which would also fall under utilities, but things like subscriptions, um, just anything that is consistently paid for every month. The next thing you need to know is what we call variable expenses. These are fixed every single month. Variable expenses are going to be things like gas. Gas can change depending on where you're driving, um, any extra driving that you have to do. But normally you can get this by just looking at how much you spend on gas and then giving yourself an average amount. You can start high and then bring it down from there. Or, that would be the best thing to do is to start high, bring it down as you notice, okay, I don't spend that much in gas. Groceries, I also would start this one high. And then bring it down as you need to. Some of us have to spend more on groceries depending on how many people are in the family than others. The next thing is just going to be fun money or personal spending. And that is just a good one to start with there. We have some other things that also are involved in our variable expenses, and I'll go over that as well. And then the rest after that, what you need to be aware of is things that occur. It could be yearly. It could be semi-yearly. Biannually, I guess would be the correct term. Semi-yearly, or quarterly. And then I can show you how I figured that out as well. But the best thing to do is to get your bank statements. And divide certain things up into certain categories. For instance, you could have one color of a highlighter and highlight all of the things that are bills or fixed expenses. Next, then do one for dining out. How much do you eat out? Are you someone that eats out a lot? And maybe that's something that you want to curb. Then go off that. That would be something that you could put here, eating out. And give yourself a budget for that. What would be another thing? Subscriptions. A lot of times we have so many little things that we have subscriptions to, like streaming services, or just like little things like the Ipsy or BarkBox or anything like that. So divvy up anything that goes into the same category and then make variable expense categories for those things. So now I'm going to go ahead and get into mine, but I just wanted to show you a little bit of a breakdown on how to initially set up your budget and get yourself started with some numbers. All right, let's go ahead and get into November. I actually had already filled this out. And so let's go over it together. So I told you, first off, that Jake and I are paid on different schedules. Well, right now, the way that mine falls is on the 7th and the 22nd, and then he's paid bi-weekly. And so we actually had very close together this one, and then this one will be on the same day for the next pay period. So what I do every single month is I go in, and it's redundant. It is. But just because it's the same every month doesn't mean that I'm not going to put it down on paper, because if I don't put it on paper, I will forget about it. Keep yourself a piece of paper or anything. You can use the simplest notebook, but I had already had this, and so this is what I planned on using. But what I do is I break down all of my fixed bills for each paycheck. And then every single month, like I said, I go on my calendar and I put down every single bill, because I know, and I double check it with this, and I will add a bill to that if I end up having a new bill. Let's see here. I just want to make sure that we're still in frame. Okay. So I have everything. I double check it with this. I want to make sure I have everything. So I know already, first off, rent is good. T-Mobile is good. That has come out. This will come out. No, this came out. Sorry. And truck, we just paid that today. So the next things to come out obviously are right here. So I go through, and for my overview, I always make sure I write down all the same bills. I give an estimate as to what we're going to make for each paycheck. I give myself about $2,200 for each check, and Jake gets about $1,500 for each paycheck, and that's because he also has to pay child support for his 2 kiddos. So I come down here, I write this, and here's my variable expenses like we talked about. We give ourselves about $900. I think we're going to end up upping this to about $1,000 just because of our Costco trips that we like to go on. Gas, we budget about $250. A couple things that we do is that on days where I ride the train to work, I live in northern Utah, and I take the train from Ogden all the way down to Salt Lake for work. And so I will take the truck, which uses more gas. And then Jake will take the RAV4, which is a hybrid, and it does a lot better on gas. So when he's driving around doing all his things every day, we save a little bit on gas that way, just by not using the truck, and because the truck obviously uses more gas. Eating out, I gave us $300. This is a trial only because we have been overspending on eating out big time, but there's also other changes that we decided we were going to make as far as this goes. There's some other things we want to try. Obviously, we don't want our budget for eating out to be 300. Like that's not helping us towards our saving at all. But we need to do this first and then also try the plan. There's a couple plan options that we've come up with to try, and when we take the kids out to eat, it ends up being such a huge expense. And then this is for the whole month. So it's 150 per paycheck. So it's 150 every 2 weeks. Just keep that in mind. This is not for one pay period. Our personal spending, kids, this is for, why did I put 100 there? I don't think that's accurate, but we'll come back to that. And then Chuck, you probably have heard me say this before. He's my 16-year-old diabetic cat. I love him. He is controlled with his insulin, so I don't really see a point in, I don't know, letting him go just because he's diabetic and I can afford the insulin. And and to be completely honest, the fact that he's 16, even if I had to cut my own personal spending just to pay for his insulin, which is really only like every third or fourth month, then that's what I would do. But this also includes all of his other stuff, his dry food, his wet food, his cat litter, and then also saving for bills. That's also included in this fund right here. So we have our total here for fixed expenses for all of our bills. And then we have our total here for our estimated variable expenses. That subtracted from our total for the month gives us a leftover of $1,759. So then what we do with that is, let me go back here. We do what's called sinking funds. Sinking funds can be basically whatever you want it to be. Sinking funds typically comes out of Jake's paycheck because he usually has more left over after our variable expenses. But sinking funds are the things that I talked about in that first paper. That was stuff that, like our registration, that's every year. I know that we need to save for that. It actually is the worst thing to not have the money for that, or to have the money for it, but then not have money to do anything else, because I had to pay for $250 for registration in 1 month. So everything here is something that has to be either saved for, that doesn't really have like an end goal, but it's like stuff that, like camping doesn't have an end goal necessarily. But we want to have money saved up so we can go camping next year. We do have a trailer and we really enjoy it. And so we decided to start making a sinking fund for camping. Home and car, we are moving this month. And so a lot of our extra money actually will be on hold for the home and car. If anything comes up, obviously we'll pull from it, but this will be nice for things like moving into the new place that we didn't realize that we needed here versus our last place. Medical, this is nice to have, especially for any copays or any bills that pop up. There's no end goal for that one, but these ones do have end goals. I know exactly how much I need to put away each one of Jake's paychecks so that I can get us to the total that we need, that's estimated based off of the last year's registration or insurance even, so that train is derailed, just so that I know exactly how much we need each month to get us to point. Now, if we make more, I usually will try and do more, because there might be a time where I need money for something else or whatnot, and I can go less on those. So I would hate for that to happen, but it can happen, and you have to be ready. Emergency fund obviously is another really big one, and that one we are in the process of building back up. So we'll get started with just my paycheck for right now. I'll try and write straight for you guys. Let's see if I can zoom in just a little bit. All right, so November 7th, Christy. All right, so my paycheck for this, let's take a look here. and tell you in 2 seconds income budgeted versus actual. So, we'll put 2,200 because that's what I always budget. I know at least I'm going to make $2,200. My actual, because I had 8 shifts on this paycheck, was $2,890.17. Okay. So let's take a look at fixed expenses. All right. So November 7th, right here, we have rent, which there might be some stuff that comes out. So I think what I'm going to do is do 900, even though I have 850 normally. Truck. I guess I should have put that over here. Let's fix that. Where's my whiteout? So we're just going to do it by the book. This is normally what we spend on these. Truck is $486. Camper is $321. HBO is $10. Vasa, believe this is mine, and I budget $20 for that. IRA is $150. Dominion is $50. Car wash is $22. And Experian is $6. Now, like I said, for rent, I think that just in case, just to cover us, because it's going to be a new place that we're paying rent to, I'm going to do 900. And then I'll do the same thing for my next check as well. The truck is forever 486, 321, 10, 20, 150. Dominion, I think it's like way lower than that, but I'm still going to go with 50. Oh, no, actually, I do know what this is. Actually, tell you. Let's see here. And Experian is 6. This is actually 1867. But 50 is normally what I budget for. And obviously that's going to be creeping up because winter's coming. All right, I'm going to calculate this really fast and I'll get back with you. Okay, so as you can see, I do like to do this side by side regardless because I like to see what I would end up doing versus how I end up doing. And you know what? Oh, I do need to add parking on here. I only pay for parking when I'm on call at work. That's not what I want. Let's see. 1 second. It's 650 times 2, so that's 13. So let's go ahead and also take off 13 here. 13 minus 95. So we actually have 943.50. I don't have anything big that else that needs to come out of this. So we're going to roll this over to Jake's paycheck. So now normally I don't get to do both at the same time. So, but today I do. It's just one of those freak things that happens during when our paychecks line up. So, November 8th. Jake. First things first is we have variable expenses. So let's go back to that. Sometimes it's a little harder to remember. I'm not going to lie. All right, so I forgot income. That's okay, we'll squeeze it in right here. Oh, I don't like it. It doesn't work. My OCD won't let me. It's not the way it's supposed to look, so we're not doing it. Let's try again. Income, budget, and actual. All right, so 1,500. Was 1,498.40. Now we can go back. This is what happens when I have to do both in the same day, and that just doesn't work for me. Okay, groceries. My typical groceries is what do we do? 500, that's right. So 500, gas 150, which 150 has really been working for us for every time. Eating out, normally what we do is 150. Which I think we're gonna up that because I think that I did my math wrong on my overview here. Let's see. I put 300, but I think we're gonna end up doing 200 in the actual. So eating out, let me just write these all down. His, hers, kids, and Chuck. Okay, so Chuck is normally 40. Kids are, and I think I did theirs wrong too. For my overview, I think I gave them more than they actually need. They don't need 100. So I think we're gonna stick with 30, 100, and 100. I can't think of anything like super special that I need to buy for myself, so leave it at 150 for now. Okay, so for groceries, actual, I think we're gonna leave it at 500. Gas is also 150. Eating out, this is what I think we're gonna bump up to 200. And then, like I said, try and assess our plan from there. His is 100, mine is 100. These are all fantastic. Let me calculate those out for you real quick. 1120. Okay, that's what we have left over. But let's do 1070 minus. That's 430. And then 1498.40 minus 1120 is 378.40. Okay, then what we're going to do is we are going to add back the Christy leftover. And that 943.50. So 378.40 plus 943.50 is $1,321.90. And then first thing that I want to do before I get into sinking funds is I want to do my little savings challenges that I have done. They don't really have anything specific that they're going to. It's just an extra way for us to put away some money. And then that way we do have some spending money if something were to happen, or if we do end up wanting to do something special, like have a date night, because I don't really have a category for a date night or anything like that. So let's get to it. So first and foremost, the first one that I like to do is called my extra dollars savings. And that one, basically what I do is I bring down our sinking funds from our last ones down to either a 0 or a 5. So if it's got $2 and some cents, I bring that down to 0 and I leave the cents. Or if it's at like 18 something, I bring that down to 15 something, and I put all those extra dollars right here. And so by the end of this, I think it's 150. 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So when I'm all done with this, I'll have 150. The other one I like to do is called roll the dice. And this one is actually really exciting because I use my 7-sided dice that I have. And so that makes it a little bit more interesting. I do not use all right, the lid doesn't want to go back on. I do not use the 100 die, because if I use the 100 die, my chances are that it would come up 100 and I'd have to put that much into savings. And yes, as much as I do want to save money, I do need that money for other stuff too at the same time. So give me 1 sec and I will get those numbers figured out for you. Okay. So first, we're going to look at groceries. And like I said, this all comes from my variable expenses. Okay. So groceries, the last thing we spent, or the what we have left, is $59.90. So I'm going to bring that down to 55. So $59.90 minus 55 is $4. So I get $4 there. So I'm going to take that out. Brings us down to $55.90. Gas. And let me show you this right here, Tokyo Station. We had to take it out of gas. How sad. So 50, I'm actually going to take $5 out of that. That brings us down to 45. Eating out, we had $2. So I'm taking 2. Sad. So we have 16 cents left in eating out. Jake doesn't spend his money. Lucky him. I'm going to bring him down to 90. And then for my spending, I also ended at $2.95. So brings me down to 95 cents left in mine. I'm a spender. Can't help it. Oh, and this book too, this actually worked out perfectly, because the 5 things that we really, really monitor, at least on this paper, I found this, I don't remember what this is. I don't know if it's like a 5-star or whatever the brand is, but it has 5 dividers, which was perfect for the stuff that we spend the most on, which is groceries, gas, eating out, Jake and myself. So I use this to track our expenses for groceries. Obviously, the 5 things that I just told you, because this gives us something quick that we can go look at. I try to write down my expenses every day. Sometimes it doesn't work out to every day, but well, there's that. and it is what it is. So let me double check because I think I forgot to add that other two. Let's double check really quick. Oh, that's 5 plus, I think gas was 5. 5. Was that 5? You guys, help me out here. 4, my bad. 4 plus 5. Go to the eating out. That was 2 plus Jake gave us 2. Yeah, I thought so. And then I gave us 2. So $15. Ooh-wee. Okay. Let me set this back off to the side here. So we're gonna put, I don't even know if I have room for all of my sinking funds right here. I might have to put all the sinking funds up here, which is fine. Savings, challenges, and we're cashless, and so this is the easiest way. Two of the easiest ways. Oh, this is the wrong one. My B. Excuse that one. It's 15 of these bad boys. 15. So I'm going to color these later, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we're going to go to this one. Right? 15. Okay. Next is roll the dice. Roll the dice. I pick out a 4-sided. This is going to tell me how many times I have to roll. And I pick these randomly. I will mix them up and pick one. 4. Okay, so we're rolling 4 times. Okay. There's 2. 11. 7. And then 1 more. 7. All right, I don't know if you can see all those. The clear ones are a little bit harder to see, but we've got 7, 7. That glare's really, really messing with it. 11 and 2. 7 and 7 is 14 plus 11 plus 2. $27 for roll the dice. And I will color that in later. So let's make sure we write these down. So extra dollars was 15. And roll the dice was 27. That's 42. But we're just going to subtract it from there. So I'm not going to write 42. 13, 21, 90 is 1,279.90. Okay. And the last thing that I do, and I have all of my sinking funds right here, so I can remember to write them all down. And then that way I don't have to keep flipping back and forth. So I have all my sinking funds here. And as you can see, I write what it is, what the goal is, if there is a goal. Some of them say NA, like camping, and then when it's due. So my RAV4 registration is due at the end of April of 2025. So I know that every one of Jake's paychecks, I need to put aside $25. So we're going to write those right here. So RAV4 registration gets 25. Truck registration. I don't think that's right. Ooh, let's see. I have a list that I'm going to look at while I do this. But I think that since we do have the extra money, let's just keep with what it is right here because I got a little bit behind when I wasn't able to stuff as well. So, and then I'll have to reevaluate and I'll have to recalculate those. So let me get a piece of paper and I will show you, actually, I will show you my paper here. This is how I figure out. I know that, well, from when I calculated this, I probably need to recalculate this. But from when I started it, I go and I look at how many paychecks, which is Jake's paychecks, I have until April 30th. And so I found out that I had 15 paychecks until April 30th. So I have 285. And if I didn't have anything already saved, then it's 285 divided by 15, which gives me how much I need per paycheck or how much I need per month. So that is what I'm doing. But since I do have the extra money, and last time I think I had a little bit of extra money too, I think what I'll do is I'll go ahead and keep it at the 20 or at what I did for the last one too, because I think that should be okay. But I need to go back and recalculate. The RV registration is not due until August of 2025. So I think that I gave myself a little less, but I think I'm going to do 10. We're going to come back to camping. I don't need camping. Let's do, more importantly, the two insurances. So vehicle insurance, I pay the premium completely, the total premium every 6 months. It's cheaper if you do it that way. And so that's what we decided we were going to do. So we actually basically pay our insurance every month, but to ourselves. And then we have it all saved by the time the end of the 6 months. So that is due in March of 2025. And it was 1030 this last time. I don't know if it's still going to be 1030, but I think since I did 100 last time, I think I'm going to just do 100 again. The RV insurance it was $375 this past time, and I need it in July of next year. And so I think we'll go with 20, and then I'll have to reevaluate. Obviously, I'm only at 20 right now. So I need to go back through my list and recalculate all of this stuff. Now, I think what we can do, okay. Christmas I don't have to put down because Christmas is already taken care of. So let's just go with it. Let's just go down the list at this point. So camping. I think for this one, we'll do 75. Maybe I should make sure. So that's 1279.90. We're going to move this over just a tiny bit. So hopefully you can just see my calculator on the side. Okay, perfect. Minus 25, minus 20, minus 10, minus 100, minus 20, minus 75. Okay, so that's where we're at right now. That's obviously a perfect, oh, it's not. I don't do math. Leave me alone. Delta is our American Express credit card. We put everything on the American Express because we really like to add up those points or the miles, basically. And the reason we have the higher one is so that we can get a companion ticket, which is really nice. Okay, so Delta right now has 253. 1029.90. We'll go back and calculate that because I do want to see 350 minus 253. So really I only need 97 more dollars, but I don't need it yet. So let's say I need it by the end of December. So let's do divided by 4. So I'm just going to do 25 then. 25, and we'll be fine with that. My nursing license. I think it's about 58. I think it's 58. I put 58 here, and it's due by January 31st. And I have 20 in there. So let's do divided by 6. Let's just do $6. Emergency fund. That one is a big one. I put 50 in there. Let's do 100. Let's figure out where we're at, because again, here I'm gonna run out of money and I'm just giving money away willy-nilly to funds. Okay, so we're at $898.90. So I put 100 back in emergency fund. We did have 1,100 saved up in emergency fund, which if you go by Dave Ramsey, he says $1,000, and that's just for, it could be just for like little stuff. If you have big stuff, obviously like no one can get around big stuff, but even just having $1,000 can help sometimes with the things that you weren't prepared for. So, but we did empty that out, and we paid off the RAV4, and so now we have one debt that's paid off, and that's really fantastic. But now we have to build it back up. So there's that. We have to have 108, and I think half of that actually is by April. Let's do 20. 20 medical. Again, starting all over. I think we're just going to do 10 in that one. PlayStation. And that is for so that we can play online games, which we do occasionally. Probably Jake more than me, obviously. But we need like 80 by February as well. So I think that we're just going to do 10 in that one. Chuck was on the other one. Kids. Big C and Girly. I actually take this 30 and I split it up so they get 15 and 15. And then if they choose to spend their money, then they choose to spend it. If they want to save it up for something big, then they can. But kids, and this is so that we can go and do fun stuff with them. I think let's do 100. And then Christmas is already funded. We already bought a little gift out of that, so it was at $981.78. So Christmas we don't have to do, but this is where I think everything else is basically going to go in home and car. And that's just to cover like all of the weird added expenses. So that's literally 700. And I'll probably move it if we don't use it. It'll be reallocated, but it'll be nice to like get a couple new things for the new place. It's brand new build. It's still a rental, but it's new. It's it's fun to have new stuff. So I think that's all I have for you. I don't have anything. I can't put debt down yet because the camper's not paid for this month yet, but on the next video I'll be able to show you how November's paychecks, how that brought us down, and this is our debt as of right now. I set myself ourself a goal of 30,000 in 2 years, and we went from 60,000 down to whatever this is, 43,478.96. So I think we're going to make that no problem, but it's fun to visualize. It's fun to watch it just be cut in half, just the goal. It's not all of the debt itself cut in half, but just the 60 to 30,000. So, I guess basically what I want to take away from this video is what I initially showed you with, how to set up a budget, is just being able to figure out where your money goes. With all of the presidential, just the elections period that went on and stuff. And, it just goes to show that a lot of people are just really upset with not being able to live on. I mean, we make good money. We're not struggling, no, but we can't buy a house, and that sucks because of the amount of money that we make, and we can't buy a house. And so a lot of people are, it's, I don't know, it's just tiring. But again, like a lot of people, your why majority of the time is just to survive, and sometimes you're just spending more than you should. And creating a budget really helps. It really shows you where you do have a little bit of money. I think, we live in a society of instant gratification and compulsive buying and overconsumption of all these products that are pushed on us constantly. And it's hard. It's definitely hard raising kids in that kind of thing because they want everything, and it's hard to say no. It definitely gets easier. I don't have a problem saying no, but I also want to teach them how to save and that they don't have to spend every dollar that they get as soon as they get it. And I don't want them to have an unrealistic expectation of the way that the economy and society is. So, anywho, just my little ramblings. Thanks for stopping by. I hope that you guys decide to stick around for my next couple videos. I'm sorry this took me so long to get this one out. Just with moving and everything, we've been so busy. So I'll try to be more on top of it. And I'll see you guys if you guys decide to come and see our next one. Thanks. Bye.